Do you want to learn how to make your own bingo cards in Photoshop? If that is the case, then keep watching, because in this video I will show you step by step how you can create your own bingo cards in Photoshop. Hello my friends, and welcome back to my channel. If you are new, I am Sam, and welcome to the Ellie Rose Party Designs community. To get started, we need to open up our Photoshop template. Now, once you have downloaded your folder, you will find that there are three Photoshop templates. The first one is your bingo calling cards, which I will go through in just a minute, and bingo printable template, which I'll also show you, and then your bingo template. So the one that we'll be working on is our bingo template. So you'll double click onto that, and it will look like something like this. Now, I have only provided you with just the template alone. I haven't added any clip art into it. I haven't added any wallpaper. That is all things that you will need to download and add to your design. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is I'm just going to find my wallpaper, and I'm going to go with this one here. Now, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag that straight into my Photoshop. Now, this wallpaper that I'm using, I found that it was perfect for what I was looking for, but the hearts were just too big to have as a background. I wanted them to be a lot more smaller so that you could actually see that it was a heart. So once it starts loading up, I will show you how I change that. Okay, so there is my design. It is just loaded, and as you can see that it is fairly big. I'm just going to hit enter. And I'm just going to locate where it has landed, which is right over here, and I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag it to the very bottom, just above the background layer. Okay, now all I'm going to do is I'm going to click onto that, and I'm going to hit Control and T, and that is going to transform it, put the transform box in it, and then all I'm going to do is I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag that down, and as you can see now my hearts become a lot more like hearts. So, and then I'm going to do that, and what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make a few more. So it doesn't really matter with that one because you're not really going to see it, and let's just put that one there, and this one I'm just going to move it to about there. Okay, and then all I'm going to do now is I am going to click here and I'm going to duplicate that, and I'm going to just try and make it look like it's pretty, it's connected like that there. Okay, and in order to duplicate, all I did was click on my layer and drag it to this plus button over here. Okay, and that has now made another copy of that particular layer. Okay, and let's go like that, and then I'm going to do it again. Okay, to about there. Alright, and then I'm just going to click onto this layer here, because you need one more of that layer, and I'm just going to drag it down to about here, and right there. It doesn't really matter because you're not going to see it, and then the same on this side. Now this does seem quite tedious, which it probably is for some people, but that was the actual design that I wanted for my Valentine's, but it's up to you. You can change that to whichever one you want. Okay, and there we go. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is, instead of having all of these layers, I am going to click on the top layer, and I'm going to click on my last layer, which is right here, and I'm going to hit shift and click. Okay, so now I've highlighted all of these layers that I've just created, and I'm going to right click and I'm going to select merge layers. So now they're all just one layer. Okay, so I can turn that off and turn that on. Alrighty, so that is my background done. Alright, now the next thing I'm going to do is I am going to insert my clip art, and you need pretty much 25 clip arts, so 5 across and 5 down, 25, technically 24, because the middle layer is going to have the free wording on it. Now the way how I am using these bingo cards, how to play there is it's 5 in a row, so either vertically or diagonally or horizontally, whichever way. So let's go down here, and I am going to go with these little monsters. Alright, and I am just going to insert just a few of them, and then I will just fast forward to the rest. So I'm just going to click, and I'm just going to drag them to make it smaller. Now the reason why you can't see it is because it's probably sitting at the bottom here. Here it is here. So let's click and drag you all the way up to the top here. And there is our little monster. Okay. And I'm just going to do another 3 more. Alrighty, so there he is there. It comes already highlighted. I'm just going to zoom and make him smaller, and let's just say we're going to pop him about there, and let's make you smaller, a little bit more smaller, and hit enter, and then this little guy. Let's just make it a tad bit smaller. Alright, and there he is there, and let's do that. Okay, so the next thing that I like to do is, because I'm going to have this white background, I am going to be adding a little bit of like a drop shadow to make it stand out a lot more. Okay, so I'm just going to zoom in so you can see exactly what I mean. Alright, so let's start with this little guy here. Now he does seem a little bit big, so let's just create smaller, and then you can use your arrow keys too to make him move about. Alright, so I am going to hit this button here, which is the FX button, and I'm going to click drop shadow. Alright, and the little box is going to appear, and there it is there. Now I'm just going to angle it to say 90, it doesn't really matter. And I'm going to do the size is going to be about, say, there, and you kind of just got to play around. So the opacity, I've just made that a little bit smaller, distance not too fast, spread and size, okay, doesn't really, you just got to play around with it. Okay, but that is what I like to do when it is on a white background. So this little dude here kind of just makes it pop a little bit more. So I'm just going to make him a little bit smaller. You'll find by zooming in on your design, you'll find that it helps you a lot more. Alright, so drop shadow. Let's have a look and see if we're happy with that. Yep, I'm happy with that. And this little guy here, I'll do the same. So I pretty much do this with all the designs, like I said before. It does just make it look a little bit more stand out. Now this one needs to be slightly bit, there we go. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep going and inserting all of my clip art, and I'll be back in a minute. Alright, so I've gone ahead and added in the rest of my clip art. Now you'll see that it kind of doesn't look that right, but this is what I wanted to show you guys, is a few different techniques. So I didn't have 25 clip arts all of the same theme, so which is obviously the monster theme, but I thought I would add a little bit of some more hearts and a few, like this rainbow one here, Valentine's rainbow, some balloons and flowers. Okay, if you can't find any clip art that you like, you could always try this option, which is you just change the color of that particular clip art to match the rest of your theme. Okay, and that's what I'm going to do now and show you. So let's just zoom in a little bit. So everything I have added a little offset, again, sorry, not an offset, a drop shadow around all of my designs, as you can see here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and show you. Let me just make this one a little bit smaller. I just want to show you how you can actually change the designs or even just add a few extra things. Alright, so the first thing is, let me show you this design here. Now obviously that doesn't match my theme. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to go onto the right hand side here and I'm going to click onto this paint bucket. And then I'm going to click over here onto this little color square and double click, and I'm going to select this color here. Okay, so your color picker box pops up, and then I'm going to click onto that and hit OK, and then I'm going to click onto my design. This is the design that I'm wanting to change, and hit OK, and I'm just going to click right there, and that is now changed that color. I'm going to go back over here, double click, and I'm going to click onto this color here, and I'm going to change that color, and then I'm going to click onto there again, and I'm going to click onto this red, and I'm going to change that color red. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to just click over here, and I'm just going to make that slightly bit lighter color, and I'm going to change all of these little yellow, sorry, all these green little leaves. Okay, and that has pretty much changed that design completely. Alright, I'm going to do the same thing with this one here. I'm just going to go over to my picker tool, and actually I might just keep it. Let's change these little colors here. I'm going to maybe do that, and let's use this red. Gonna make that red. I might do change those hearts and change that there. Alright, I'm happy with that, so I'm going to leave that there. Okay, so that's just a few ways that you can actually like blend your other clip arts to match your theme, if that makes sense. Okay, now just by doing that I can already see that this little dude here needs to be a little bit smaller. Okay, let's just bring him up. Alright, so another thing I wanted to share with you is I left this area over here kind of blank. Well, not really, but I want to show you how you can add some clip arts together to make another clip art, you could say. So all I did was this design here, this design here I have just duplicated because I'm going to use it again over here, but I'm going to take this little guy here and I'm going to duplicate him by hitting the square button, and I'm going to drag him down here. In fact, no, let's not use him. Let's just go back. I did this guy here. Alright. Let's drag him down and bring him across. Alright, so there he is there. And I might make him a little bit smaller. And let's bring up the balloons to about, say, there. Okay, and there we go. So you've now just added yourself another little design. So next I'm going to show you how you can do that clipping mask box thingamajiggy that I was showing you before. So I'm just going to click onto these balloons, and I'm just going to duplicate that, and I'm going to bring one up over here. Alright, now you can either just seriously just go like this. You can go add a new layer, go over here to your shape tool, right click and click onto the square box, and I'm just going to make a square box from there to there. Alright, obviously we're going to change that to white. There is white over there, and make sure that there is no stroke. Alright, I'm then going to put that one behind this one here, but I'm wanting that one to be a little bit bigger, so let's just drag you out, say about there. Now you could just do it like that and then just erase the string, or you can go right click and create clipping mask, and that is now created a clipping mask within that particular box. Alright, so that is my card number 1. Now I am going to click onto this layer here, which is the blue rectangle box, and I'm going to double click onto that little square, and I might change this to maybe that pretty little baby pink, which is right there, and I'm just going to zoom out and see how my design is looking. Alright, perfect. It's looking really good. Now I need to change this header box. Normally if you just click onto it, it will highlight the actual layer. Double click onto it here, and let's change that color to, there we go. So it's starting to come all together. Now one thing I have actually forgotten is obviously my heading. So I am going to go up to the very top because you want your layer to be at the top, and I'm just going to create a new layer, and I'm going to go over here and I am going to change you select the text icon button, and I'm just going to go to the top here, and I am going to select, find it, this one here, Milko, and I'm just going to change the color to white, and I'm going to click onto my template, and I'm going to type in Valentine Bingo. Let's see. Okay, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger, and let's just make it, alrighty, just drag it down to about there. Okay, so Valentine Bingo. Alright, you could say Valentine's, which I think would probably sound a lot better. So let's do that. And I'm just going to make you again a little bit smaller by hitting Control T to transform it. Once again, I do have other videos that will help you with getting started with Photoshop, so I will link all of those down below. Alrighty, so there is our first card. One thing I forgot to mention is I popped all of my clip arts into a folder, and all I did was create a folder by selecting this folder button. I double clicked onto the wording and I typed in card 1. Okay, that's all I did. Okay, and then that groups it, that kind of keeps it all nicely tucked away into one folder, and then if I want to I can just switch it off and switch it on that way. Okay, so in the free section I have the wording already free there. Now what I like to do is to make it obviously stand out a lot more, and I'm just going to create a layer inside this folder, and that is going to be a little square, and we're just going to click and I'm going to drag that around the box like so, and I'm just going to change the color to that color, yep, and then I'm just going to hit the stroke. Alright, and I'm just going to place that underneath the free so that just stands out a lot more. Okay, and then this free, I'm probably going to take away the drop, actually the drop shadow on there, but I'm just going to add a stroke. Alright, and the stroke is pretty much just the border that goes around your clip art or your font. Okay, and I'm just going to change the color to white, and see if I'm happy with that size. I am, and I'm just going to hit OK. Okay, and that there is my first card, bingo card. Now I like to make about 6 different types of bingo cards. You can do more or you can do less, but I like to do 6 just to give it a bit of a variety. Okay, so before we start creating our second card, I'm just going to show you what I would normally do from here. So the first thing that I would do is I would go to File and I would Save As, and I would actually save a copy of my design just in case for some reason something happens. Okay, and I would just go over to my bingo template, and then I would hit save. Okay, but I'm not going to do that because I don't want to override this design that I've already got going on here. But that's what you would normally do. Okay, the next thing that I want to do is I'm going to take all of these layers and I'm going to compress it to one layer. Okay, and to do that you just go to layers, and I'm going to go all the way down to flatten image, and now you'll find that this all has become one layer. Okay, the reason for that is it makes your design a lot more smaller, and also it stops other people from using the different layers and that. Alright, so I'm just going to go back over to our folder that you have all of your templates, and I'm going to click onto the bingo printable template, and I'll show you what this one does. So there are two ways that you can obviously distribute your bingo cards, and that is by JPEG, well, not two ways, a few ways, sorry, JPEG, PNG, or a PDF file. I like to do PDF file because I feel like that's the most safest option. The other thing is, are you wanting to distribute your bingo cards as a US letter size and as an A4 size, or smaller? So I like to do smaller, and that's what I'm going to show you today, and you can decide which one you want to do. Alright, so once you have opened up your bingo printable template, it's going to look something similar to this. Now all it has in this folder, sorry, in this template is your title, which is your bingo template. You can add whatever you want to there. I just put the random thing there, and then over here you would obviously put your name, your URL, and for personal use only. Once again, you may change that or switch it on or off, however you please. So once you have flattened your image, I'm going to click and I'm going to drag this template into my printable template folder, shall I say. Okay, and I'm just going to click by selecting Control and T, and I'm going to right click, and I am going to select rotate 90 degrees anti-clockwise, and I am going to make you smaller, and you're going to be pretty much fitting in there. Okay, so that's how I am going to be setting up these printable bingo cards, is by making them a little bit smaller, and you can have card 1, card 2 on one PDF file, card 3 and 4 on another PDF file, and so on and so on. You could also just take your design and keeping it a lot more bigger, and then you have each card on their own PDF file. That's up to you. Okay, so that's the first thing I like to do. Now bear in mind, remember when you're saving your design, that you are saving it with all of the layers, that all the layers are seen over here. Okay, so as you can see, there's only this flattened image, so we need to go back to the previous option. Okay, so now I have all of my designs, all of my layers, sorry, on the right hand side over here. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create my card number 2. Now this way I'm going to show you, I have found to be the most easiest way for me to design them, but it's up to you how you want to do it. Okay, so all I'm going to do is I'm going to create a duplicate of my design, and I'm just going to double click, and I'm going to change that to card number 2, and I'm going to hide my card number 1. Now I'm just going to open up, and all I'm going to do in this folder is I am actually going to hide all of these designs, and you'll see why in a minute. So what I like to do is I like to go to the very bottom. Okay, this one here, and I'm going to switch it on. Now this is obviously where it was in card 1. I'm now going to take it and I'm going to just move it somewhere else. Okay, and then I'm going to do the next one that was over there. I'm now going to place it somewhere else. Now it doesn't really matter where you place it, as long as it's somewhere different than it was in the previous cards. Okay, so we've got you and you. I'm going to pop you, say there. Okay, so what I did was I took two different clip arts and I made one little design, which is like that. Okay, now what I'm going to do is, so it saves me having to redo two different layers. I'm just going to click onto this one and this one, select both of those, right click, and I'm going to merge layers. Now that is one layer as opposed to two layers. Okay, I'm going to go to the next one and let's pop you there. Okay, so you get my drift with what I'm going with that. And then once you have done card 2 and then add it to my the second one, I would add over here. Okay, so what I have done in a previous one, which is right here, I'll show you. So this is card number 1, this is card number 2, this is card number 3, card number 4, card number 5, and card number 6. Okay, the other thing that I wanted to show you is changing the font. So I'm just going to click onto this B, and I'm just going to go over here to the font icon, and I'm just going to go over here to my color picker tool, and I'm just going to change that to this color there, and I'm going to click onto my stroke, which I have already added to your folder. So that should already be there, the little stroke. You just got to add it. Okay, and I'm just going to do every single one of those and add the stroke. Alright, the next thing I wanted to show you is the calling cards folder. Calling cards are pretty much just what you would print out, cut out, and you would pull out of a hat and be like, it's a butterfly or whatever, and that's what they would use to cover the their bingo with a bingo chip, their little clip art on their printable template, whatever. Anyhow, all right, so what we're going to do is I am going to select, I switched off my card folders, and there it is there. So now it does look a bit strange. So let's go over here, and we're pretty much just going to go from the top and work our way down. I'm going to switch you off, you off, you off, you off, you off, you off, you and you, and we have you on. So all I am going to do is I'm going to that one. Okay, so I've added the instructions here for you. Let's just take that copyright out. You're welcome to obviously change the wording to whatever you want to. Okay, so what I like to do is I'm just going to click on to card number 1, and I'm going to duplicate that, which is right over here. Okay, make a duplicate copy of that, and I'm going to click and I'm going to drag it inside of my calling card folder, which is right there. All right, and I'm just going to click onto it. There it is there, and I'm going to hit Control T because I've highlighted that folder, and I'm just going to click and I'm going to drag it to pretty much where I think they are going to sit, which is about there. Now you're probably going to have to maneuver a few of them, like this one here. Let's just move you up one. This one needs to be moved about there. That one seems fine. Okay, now this one would just be empty, of course, because that is the free square. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is hit layers and flatten that one, and I'm going to hit file, file, save copy as, and I'm going to save this one also as a PDF. And this one I would say the Valentine's, all capital letters, Valentine's bingo calling card, something like that. Okay, and hit OK, save PDF file, and then if we go over here, you will see it just over here. And let's double click and let's see what it looks like, which is right here. Let's maneuver it back and there it is there. So that's what they would print out once, and they would cut that out. Alrighty, and then make sure that you have taken the layers, flattened layers back off, and you're back to your main layers section over here. Okay, and then I would just go file, and once again I will save this as a PSD, which is your Photoshop template, as I go along, so that way at least I am constantly saving my work. Now the next thing I wanted to show you is your calling cards mock-up. So what I mean by this is that's it there. So it is pretty much just a square box template in Photoshop, and then you're just adding a few of your little clip arts to that design, and then you can use that as a mock-up. So for instance, like this is my Pinterest pin that I have created for my blog, and I have just created these little things here to add. So let's go over here and I will show you what I mean. So we click onto, and there it is there. So that's what I say, it's got no layers, nothing, it's literally just a square box. Okay, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here and I'm just going to select any random clip art, and I'm going to pop it in here. I'm going to make it bigger, like that. And then all I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten the image, and I'm going to go file, save as, and I'm going to be saving this as a PNG file or a JPEG file, whatever you want. Call it whatever, blah blah blah. Hit OK, and then if you see, there it is there. Okay, and then that there is what I'm going to use in to create my sales page, or my my advertisement, my listing image, whatever you want to call it. That's what I will use. So I think I've covered pretty much everything that I wanted to show you with regards to designing your own bingo cards. Now of course you can use this bingo template for anything. So I created one just recently, Christmas one, which is this one here, and I used the exact same template, so it is fairly easy to use once you understand how to use the template. Alright, so I think that's it for this tutorial. I hope you found it useful. Sorry it was a bit long, but I really wanted to show you all the different types of ins and outs on creating your own bingo. Feel free to use these templates to create your own printables that you can sell. Please do not sell my actual template, but do use the template to design your own printables, and those printables is what you will sell. Alright, but if you have any questions, feel free to message me down below this video. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next video. Thanks very much. Take care. Bye.